smack the record button and let's get this started. If anyone wants to join in late, just warn them and tell them that it will be recorded. They can catch it on the recording if they miss it out for now. Look, let's go over Bitcoin. Let's break it down. Let's see what's happening on the daily, and then we can talk about everything that is going on, right? Okay, so what are we experiencing right now? Okay, this is the equivalent of what we call a bear market rally. Okay, so people have been calling for this for a long time. And it seems like we have officially gotten that bear market rally. If you look at this levels over here, we have officially broken above this high over here, right? That we tried to get above it twice. We rejected it. Eventually got above it. We never came back down to retest that 25k level. But to be honest with you, like if you watch majority of streamers right now, or if you watch majority of anything right now, then you'll be seeing that all over socials, all over Twitter and everything like that, everyone's been calling 25k. Everyone's been saying, making videos on 25k, guys, 25k, 25k, we're going to get 25k, then we're going to buy up and it's going to go to the moon. And obviously what happens, if everyone calls 25k, it doesn't eventually play out, right? So if everyone calls the same thing, it doesn't happen. So that's why we never got that retest of 25k. Okay, so where are we tipping in right now? Where are our feet going into? We're going into this range over here. Okay, I'm going to remove this, and then I'm just going to box this a bit better, remove that line, and then we can see what we're looking at. Okay, so this was the last consolidation before Bitcoin took that dip down to the downside, and all I want to do in this area is just grab my fixed range volume profile and grab the range. Okay, so this will give me my volume area high and my volume area low, which I really do need in this situation because I want to show you guys something real quick. Okay. So the point of control would be this red line over here. I'm just going to mark it off. And then we have the volume area high, which is basically, in essence, it's the price that was traded the most at the top of the range, price that was traded the most at the bottom of the range, and then this is the point of control, right? This is the most traded price in that range. And you can see Bitcoin is currently tapping into that level right now. Okay, and it's actually an interesting level because we would expect it to receive more pressure to the downside from this point of control, because any area that previously had a lot of volume will essentially show that same volume if price ever taps that area again. Okay, so that's what I have drawn out over here. You can actually get rid of this volume, fixed range volume profile, and just have the point of control and just keep it there. I want to see Bitcoin close a daily candle above the point of control if we are going to the upside. But once again, like everyone's been calling upward momentum, so I don't know if we're going to get that. But something that I do want to show you guys is something that I shared a couple weeks ago. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. I shared this in the WhatsApp group, the Africa WhatsApp group, and I think I shared it here as well. But if you grab a fib from top to bottom, everyone is expecting some sort of retracement. Okay, so if you take the fib top to bottom completely, the retracement would be 56k, more or less, like between 52 and 56k. If you take it from this area over here, the retracement would be around like 38. So in essence, it's kind of like watch and see. Okay, so because there is no real correct way to draw this, it just depends on time frame. So you could do this up top here, and you can grab this area over here between, like, it's about 53 to about 58k, or you could go a little bit lower to drag it over there, and you could say that this would be the high then, 38k, about 38,500. And the reason why people are calling this is because they want that kind of that 618 retracement, that perfect retracement, because they want the market to come down, bear market rally into a retracement somewhere, which I could see forming somewhere around this level here, right? And then tapering down, creating a higher low, and then coming down again to then come and print down somewhere here, and then go into the bull market. But to be honest with you, that's an overview of what this entire section here looks like. But in essence, we need to break above this level here first. Okay, we need to get above this. Once we can get above this, close a daily candle above these highs. I'm going to zoom in a bit, actually. Once we can get above this level here, right, close a daily candle above the high. I've got the level marked over here. It's about 32,000. If we can close a daily candle above there, then you've basically got clear space up all the way until about 38,000, because all of this is really nothing. So you'd want to go above there, close, coming back for a retest on an hourly candle, and then you could like free roam straight up to like 38k. Then you'll get this level of resistance here, and that's where you might see some resistance and maybe snap back down again. But honestly, if everyone's calling the same thing, everyone's saying buy alts, do this, do that, the market's going to do the opposite, right? So for example, if I go to the 4-hour over here, right, you can see a lot of rejection to the upside and also some rejection to the downside. So the market's currently in a pennant, right? If I go to the 5-minute time frame, you'll see it perfectly. That's just a nice pennant forming over there with your low and your high sitting kind of like that. You could mark this as the high and then wait for that retest and then buy it long. But honestly, it's all perspective right now. So go to the 4-hour again, okay? Or even let's just go to the daily. Let's just work it out, okay? So Bitcoin is currently sitting at this point of control on the daily, right? With no major bottom wick. There's like a baby wick sitting over here. What we could see happening is if everyone makes a video today, if everyone that does live streaming on YouTube makes a video today and says to everyone, go long and buy altcoins, you're going to see a snapback on Bitcoin, right? And when I say a snapback, I don't mean a snapback down to like 18K. I mean, you can see an instant just snap back down, get a lower high, and then push up again, kind of creating that formation there, and then also extending this trend line out like that. You can see like this massive view. It's not impossible. You could see like a massive snapback, just touching this trend line and then going up again. So look, out of what we can see right now and out of what's happening, let's go to the 1 hour and let's just see how this actually broke out of what was playing out. So we had a pennant, another pennant forming over here on the 1 hour. Okay, building liquidity in obviously both directions, and it decided to take the liquidity to the upside first. Okay, as you can see there, we tapped the resistance, rejected it, went up, and we absolute Chad candle just fucking just zoomed straight out there. And right here, that's not tradable in my opinion, right? So because you just had this massive expansion to the upside, right, you can't really decide to go long here. Okay, the only reason why is because if you get that snapback, you could get a snapback and a wick down here, and then you could go up again, or you could just get a snapback all the way down to this trend line and then shoot up again, and you don't want to get caught out in that move. So the best thing to do now is if you have spot positions, great. That's amazing. Your spot position should be doing well. But if you're looking to go long or short, it would be a bad time to enter either of those positions, only because the market could moon from here, or the market could snap back. And the only area that I would look for long again is if we come down to this area here and just tap this trend line. But at the same time, if you draw this pennant out, right, you'll see that this pennant will eventually cross each trend at the same time. So if this plays out where you're touching both of these lines at the same time, that's a double confirmation, because you'd essentially be retesting this level over here. This it would be like kind of like a retest of a trend, and you'd also have this retest of a support trend line, and then on top of that as well, you'd have this area of demand over there, right? So you kind of got this 1, 2, 3 areas of support that you're going to kind of find, and that's an area that I would love to look for along. But obviously, once again, is if you come down, don't just enter blindly. So if you want to come down, you'd want to get there. Then we might even get like a wick down through the zone, but then close above. And that's when I would kind of look for that long entry to the upside. Is if we get like a touch here, wick down, come up, that would be like the perfect entry, and then shoot it up to the upside. And the only thing I would do there is if I do get that entry, I would kind of go for this setup where my stop loss is like below the wick, if it has a wick, or below this low, and then literally just ride it up for like a retest. Because as far as we know, if we come back down here and we find support here, we could just go up and retest this level and then come down, creating a lower high, and then just making a lower low here again. So you just got to be careful, is that the market's in uncharted territory right now. There is the direction for the past while over here has been up. You can say kind of from here that the market direction has been in an uptrend. But the thing is also is if you pull out the stochastics, I don't have the normal stochastics on this chart right now. Let me quickly see if I can grab it. It might tell me that I have too many. No, I have it. Let's quickly grab the daily. Okay, you can see the daily. If you look at the stochastic here, it's starting to peel up, right? It's starting to get to that overbought section. And if you go to the weekly, even the weekly is like super overbought, right? And you're even sitting in a weekly supply zone over here. So look, it's like it's kind of tricky. That's why I would say just don't long from this level here because you're longing at the peak of resistance, right? So what I would say to you is long from an area of support. Don't long into resistance, right? That's just not the smartest thing to do. But as well as this area here, is you could also drag your fixed range volume profile and just drag it over that area and then try and find this point of control, and it would be perfectly kind of aligned over here. So the point of control would be there. And then you could mark that off and then wait for an entry somewhere around that level. I'm going to delete it just because I don't think I'm going to use the point of control. I'll use candlestick patterns and I'll use candle structure to enter this trade for myself. But you could do that as a thing that you could do. But that's just what I would watch for, right? There's two scenarios that could play out where you have this high snap back here and then you push up and creating the trend line. Or you could have that snap back, come up, lower high, come down, break the trend, and then retest this level here. And then you could just keep going, making that lower high again. But yeah, that's just the views. And that's kind of how I would see it play out is if you come here, you'd want to retest something up here, then break the trend. You'd create some sort of resistance, tap it, and then continue. And then take out all of this liquidity down here. And then from there, you can even argue that the liquidity goes lower, but I would say the liquidity starts around there. And then you could have your next level would be kind of here of support would be kind of around that section over there. And that's what I would bet on right now is that I'm not looking for any specific positions. With the USDT dominance, right? This is a very interesting one. So with USDT dominance did take liquidity to the downside. Okay, and it's finding some sort of support in this area here. As you can see, there's a lot of wicks and a lot of candles rejecting this area, right? So it is finding some sort of support in this area. If we can see a pull back to this trend and then a dump off down again, if the market, if Bitcoin's going to go up, I would love to see some sort of formation like that where we come up to this trend and then come down again. And if that happens, you'll have the same thing play out in Bitcoin where this would snap down to this trend over here. And you can use the USDT dominance as like a sign of direction for that. But at the same time, you've got all this liquidity sitting there as well. So you're kind of in a tricky situation because the market's kind of just accumulating. Okay, so like on the 4 hours, it's accumulating. But right here on the 1 hour, a pull up and then a snap down would be great. If we do snap down from there, where's the next level of support? It would be the bottom of all of this liquidity, which would be sitting down here. So that would be the next level at which we would catch support. We've been in this kind of consolidation thing with this deviation for a while. And if we come all the way down here, Bitcoin's going to rally up, right? Bitcoin's going to shoot up, okay? However, if we go there, trend, and then push to this area, that would be a big long, okay? Just letting you guys know. So I'd keep an eye on the USDT dominance just for that reason. And yeah, at the same time, like taking out this liquidity to the upside, like if we just bounce up and do that, it wouldn't be impossible. Once again, total 1 looks exactly like Bitcoin, so I'm not going to go over it. Total 2, okay, total 2 is at resistance right now. Okay, it can peak up above and absolutely tap this zone, but I'd want to see a daily candle above this zone. Close. I want to see a daily candle close above this zone, or 1 hour candle and then retest and then shoot up. But your total 2 is at resistance right now. Total 3 is kind of the same thing, but you have kind of this trend over there. So you have all of this liquidity being built up over here. If you can come up and take it out to there, or you could even go like one level further and take it all the way up to this top range over here. But once again, everything is like slowly coming to the top range of everything. You can see on the 4 hour, total 3 hasn't quite made a lower low. If you take this wick over here, it hasn't made a lower low because the candles didn't close below it. But however, you can see that there is a 4 hour area of supply that it is busy respecting in some way possible. You could even say that there's liquidity here and it wants to take it out and it's busy retesting that to take out the liquidity. It might just push up to that level there. But it is a bit tricky to kind of sit in a position where you can say the market is going to moon, and at the same time, you can also say the market's going to pull back, right? So if I tell you now, right, the market's going to moon, okay, and it pulls back 2% before it moons, I was technically still right, right? But I'm just giving you guys a perspective on something quickly. I would technically still be right. But if I tell you, hey, the market's going to have a snapback, and it has a snapback and it pulls back 2%, and then it moons, I was still right. Like, I just need you guys to understand that perspective on it, kind of in that way. I'm going to stop the recording.